Спасибо, что присоединились к нам сегодня на дискуссию. У нас будет два языка, русский и английский. Мы будем стартовать с русского языка. И сегодня на сессии мы хотели бы поговорить про развитие технологий, про то, как развивать технологии и как делать это безопасно, так, чтобы эти технологии были применимы для общества, чтобы они были безопасны и приносили наибольшую пользу обществу, как государству, так и компаниям, которые работают в рамках данных государств. И сегодня мы будем обсуждать эту проблематику, конечно, через призму координации различных стран, прежде всего в рамках BRICS, но и не только. Я позволю себе представить наших уважаемых спикеров. Это представители различных стран, это представители научного сообщества, исследователи, это представители регуляторных органов, и нам очень важно получить их оценку того вектора приоритетов и стратегии развития технологий так, чтобы они были безопасны для нас и приносили наибольшую пользу нашим странам. Итак, позвольте я представлю. Альберт Рауфович Бахтизин, член-корреспондент РАН, директор Центрального экономико-математического института, Самир Патил, Индия, старший научный сотрудник, заместитель директора исследовательского фонда Observer Research Foundation. Чжуан Жучэнь, член рабочей группы по созданию научно-инновационного парка Китай-БРИКС. Нирмала Гопал, профессор и старший научный сотрудник университета Квазулу-Наталь, ЮАР. Алла Мандидо, руководитель отдела биотехнологий растений Эфиопского биотехнологического института. Хода Аль-Хзайми, основатель и директор Центра по развитию новых технологий и передовых исследований, помощник заместителя проректора Нью-Йоркского университета в Абу-Даби, Арабские Объединенные Эмираты. Дискуссантами сегодня выступят Владимир Владиславович Коровкин, ассоциированный профессор школы управления Сколково, и Алан Тасалтанович Салбиев, основатель Академии системного анализа. Спасибо большое коллегам, что присоединились сегодня к нам. В качестве застройки сегодняшней проблематики я расскажу немножко о своей сфере. Меня зовут Масютин Алексей, я руковожу исследовательским центром по искусственному интеллекту Высшей школы экономики. Конечно, мы разрабатываем новые способы применения технологий искусственного интеллекта во благо общества. Что мы видим на сегодняшний день? Если посмотреть новости, то мы заметим очень тревожный тренд. Знаменитая компания OpenAI, которая является лидером разработки решений в сфере искусственного интеллекта на данный момент, публикует то, что ключевые разработчики и исследователи в области безопасности применяемых больших языковых моделей постепенно покидают компанию. По причине, это открытая информация, по причине того, что культура разработки данных продуктов начинает идти вразрез с пониманием этики этими ведущими исследователями. Что интересно, эти исследователи далее организуют свои стартапы и занимаются своими проектами. Одним из таких стартапов стал Anthropic, так называемый. Вышла недавно блестящая статья Anthropic, которая провела интерпретацию того, как видит и мыслит большая языковая модель. Были визуализированы промежуточные слои нейронных сетей, и обнаружилось, что модель действительно на цифрах представляет себе разные концепции, такие как пол, такие как географические места, даты и так далее. Но это и было известно до этого, что нейронная сеть имеет некоторое внутреннее представление. Но что было тревожным, что, оказывается, искусственно, влияя на вот эти выявленные промежуточные слои нейронных сетей, можно сподвигать модель к определенному поведению, к даче заведомо смещенной информации, к подготовке рекомендаций, которые являются заведомо ложными, и это все может стать инструментом также и в руках, скажем так, мошенников, либо представителей, которые представляют киберугрозу для нашего общества. Ну и вот в свете того, что искусственный интеллект, конечно, не единственная сфера высокотехнологичная, но тем не менее одна из ведущих, мы бы хотели поговорить про приоритеты в развитии вычислительных мощностей. И Россия входит в пятерку стран, которые обладают своими большими языковыми моделями. Для нас эта проблематика очень актуальна. но не только с точки зрения скорости развития таких технологий, но и, конечно, того, чтобы эти технологии развивались сообразно ценностям и сообразно той безопасности и уровня доверия, который мы требуем от таких решений. И я приглашаю Альберта, пожалуйста, с небольшим рассказом о приоритетах, то, что считает Центральным экономическим ЦМИ приоритетным в области вычислительных ресурсов. Пожалуйста, Альберт.
Да, Алексей, спасибо большое. Но на самом деле это не только приоритет нашего института, это приоритет как раз стран БРИКС. Мой институт является одним из координаторов рабочей группы со стороны России, то есть ЦМИ и МГУ, где мы определяем приоритеты вот в рамках пятистороннего такого сотрудничества. В этом году, может быть, будет 10 стран, то есть, ну, вот последние 7 лет их было 5. Значит, где каждая страна формулирует приоритеты с тем, чтобы потом они были вынесены на рассмотрение старших должностных лиц. Вот, каждая страна предлагает свои, соответственно, предложения. Если Бразилия, например, это искусственный интеллект и разработка алгоритмов для эффективного распараллеливания, Индия это биоинформатика, Китай это искусственный интеллект, транспортные симуляторы, персонифицированная медицина, Россия здесь это значит, климат и демография. То есть вот такое получается межстрановое разделение в сфере суперкомпьютерных технологий, которые значит, определяется 5 странами-участниками и куча организаций. Вот на слайде приведены только часть из них. Это ключевые центры в сфере высокопроизводительных вычислений всех 5 стран. Между тем, всеми странами выделен такой общий флагманский проект, он называется «Цифровая земля», где в рамках Digital Earth, где в рамках него каждая страна, соответственно, обладая своими компетенциями, вносит свой посильный вклад. И правильно вы говорили насчет эволюции языковой модели, то есть если мы уже заседаем не первый год вот в рамках рабочей группы, но последние 2 года это сильная корректировка произошла в связи с бурным развитием языковых моделей, которые на самом деле начали развиваться еще с 2018 года или с 2017, там первые появились, но большое распространение получили, когда пошло вот это user-friendly интерфейс, стало возможным задавать вопросы и получать ответы. И вот следующий шаг, это мы опять-таки на своей рабочей группе, это мы видим в эволюции вот этих больших языковых моделей, в их трансформацию в такие системы с автономными агентами. И это будет ближайшим трендом, наверное, на ближайшие 3-5 лет. Речь о чем идет? О постепенной замене ряда специальностей, которые традиционно выполняет человек, значит, вот подобного рода моделями, которые будут как-то оконтурены не только как компьютерная программа, а может быть в виде уже такого автономного либо компьютерного приложения, которое функционирует со своим собственным целеполаганием, либо как вот, ну если вот сейчас тот же OpenIP или вот это Tesla от Илона Маска делают уже роботов, которые включают в себя вот такого рода систему. Значит, и более того, такие модели стали использоваться в самых разных областях, и поскольку вот институт, который я представляю, это институт, специализирующий в сфере прогнозирования социально-экономических показателей, подобного рода модели стали использоваться для прогноза макроэкономических показателей. Например, Федеральный резервный банк Сент-Луиса в 2023 году добился точности ретро-прогноза по индексу потребительских цен лучше, чем традиционные модели векторной авторегрессии. Да, то есть это используется большая языковая модель от Google, которая сделала более эффективно, чем традиционные средства прогнозирования макроэкономических показателей. А вот еще один пример – это использование больших языковых моделей МВФ, значит, Международным валютным фондом, для выявления среди центробанков стран мира значит, независимости их монетарной политики. То есть насколько она независима, выявлялась за счет анализа законодательства в этой сфере, использовалась для этого как раз большие языковые модели, которые анализировали биграммы, выявляли, значит, частоту использования ключевых слов и таким образом определяли независимость денежно-кредитной политики. И вот продолжая тему автономности таких моделей, значит, у нас с коллегами из Канады, значит, причем это уже не досужие разговоры, это реальная разработка, это автономные агенты на базе больших языковых моделей, которые обладают своей памятью, возможностью планирования, возможностью осуществления определенных действий, значит, возможностью получения обратной связи от человека и прочее, то есть которые применяются для различных сфер. Но это модели, которые они разрабатывали, в первую очередь были назначены для сферы персонифицированной медицины с тем, чтобы под конкретный организм, значит, производить такой, значит, диагноз наиболее точный и моделировать лекарства под конкретную болезнь с учетом функциональной особенности конкретного организма. А модели становятся все более точными. Вот вы говорили, что вас впечатляет то, как они, значит, визуализируются, и действительно это, как сказать, захватывающее зрелище, особенно учитывая их сложность. Это вот, например, чат GPT, это 400 слоев, причем очень с большим количеством нейронов, и, соответственно, их повышающая точность вот, применительно к сфере выполнения арифметических операций показывает, что со сложной математикой эти модели уже вполне себе справляются. МВФ, значит, почему я все оперирую на международные организации в сфере прогнозирования социально-экономических процессов? Потому что это одно из таких приложений, которые, наверное, в ближайшее время будут захватывать рынок. Да? То есть они в своем одном из последних отчетов от марта текущего года, значит, сказали, что текущие их модели, вот эти равновесные модели векторной авторегрессии уже не, как сказать, не соответствуют вызовам времени. Да? То есть мир становится все более сложным, и нужны, конечно, более продвинутые инструменты, и не те, которые до этого использовались, а которые будут сочетать в себя движки, которые анализируют данные в режиме реального времени. И вот одно из средств, которые мы используем, это цифровой двойник планеты в рамках проекта цифровой Земли, который позволяет проводить, в частности, например, оценку последствий торговых войн между ключевыми игроками, в общем-то, международной торговой системы. И, значит, один из результатов, это был у нас стресс-тест, проведенный для большинства стран мира, а что будет, если санкции будут наложены не только на Россию, а на ряд других стран, на ключевую двадцатку G20, посмотреть, а, собственно говоря, как они себя поведут, если санкции будут вот такое распространяться, масштабно накладываться не только на Россию. И мы считаем, что подобного рода инструменты, которые, значит, основаны на вот этих уже не на равновесных моделях, а на агентоориентированном подходе с использованием подобного рода систем, будут все чаще применяться для подобного рода систем. И, наверное, заканчивая свое такое короткое, наверное, выступление, сошлюсь на исследование Rand Corporation, которое, значит, проанализировало развитие больших языковых моделей и опубликовал неутешительный для себя вывод. Потому что они считают, что в сфере кибербезопасности одной из основных угроз в ближайшее время будет как раз неконтролируемое производство вот подобного рода генеративных трансформеров, которые могут очень сильно корректировать и выдачу поисковых систем, и зашумлять информационное пространство, и производить некачественные с точки зрения, как сказать, Америки, значит, прогнозы социально-экономических показателей по заказу неизвестных, кстати говоря, компаний, которые будут осуществлять. И, в общем-то, это вызывает серьезные опасения. И, в частности, предстоящих выборов президента США в ноябре этого года считают, что более 130 больших языковых моделей, которые по оценкам США сейчас активно развиваются в Китае, могут сильно повлиять на результаты голосования, собственно, по выборам президента за счет создания большой армии ботов, за счет корректировки вот, выдачи поисковых систем, создания нежелательного контента и прочего. То есть вот с чего я начал, то, что в рамках стран БРИКС приоритетами в сфере суперкомпьютерных технологий, если раньше считались вот средства там, персонифицированной медицины и прочее, то теперь первое место уверенно занимает подобного рода трансформеры, и дальнейшее их развитие, оно, наверное, несет в себе, помимо некоторых плюсов, но очевидную опасность, которую я так кратко постарался обозначить. Спасибо.
Альберт, спасибо большое. Полностью согласен, особенно когда был слайд про аналитику текстовых материалов различных регуляторных органов. Конечно, понятно, что абсолютно аналогичный подход может использоваться для тотальной слежки. Такие инструменты, как OSINT, да, Open Source Intelligence. И, опять же, в зависимости от того, кому попадет этот инструмент, эти данные, конечно, будет влиять и направленность действия. Спасибо. Ну, продолжая тему рисков, я думаю, мы очень удачно завершили предыдущий доклад именно рисками. Я бы хотел обратиться к Самиру Патилу. Скажите, пожалуйста, как вы считаете, как странам БРИКС стоит развивать технологии, чтобы обеспечить, в общем-то, контроль над безопасностью? Мы знаем, что, конечно, Индия ключевой разработчик и программного обеспечения, и новых методов машинного обучения. Соответственно, как вы считаете, оптимально развивать данной технологии, сохранив баланс между тем, чтобы не блокировать, не добавлять барьеров для развития технологий, но и контролировать потенциальные риски.
Thank you, Alexei, for this opportunity, and also the HSC University for giving me this opportunity to come and speak at the BRICS Academic Forum. This is my first time at the BRICS gathering and first time in Moscow, so I'm really excited
Welcome.
by the rich set of discussions that have happened over the last 1.5 days. Now, Albert spoke about the opportunities offered by the LLM models and the AI. I think what I will do is I will take a very general overview of the various emerging technologies and the kind of risks they pose, but also the opportunities that they give, because I believe that even as we are looking at the negative implications of the emerging technologies, that should not take away our attention from the positive aspects of some of these emerging technologies. So if you look at, for instance, the technology of cloud computing, I think cloud computing began as a storage option, but today it has become an all-inclusive computing platform where it has become a core to our computing, because we now store all the data and also the computing processes on that particular platform. But that has also opened up a weakness in terms of making it vulnerable for cyber attacks. Similarly, if you look at, for instance, the Internet of Technology, Internet of Things, IoT. Now, IoT also gives a new connectivity model. But again, it has also given rise to what is known as the edge computing, which is basically that the data can be stored as close to the data source as possible and not necessarily in the clouds. But that again, on the other hand, also makes the data more vulnerable, because it can, in a sense, it has implications in terms of the user awareness of the data security, as well as the data storage practices. We spoke about the AI, and I think today AI has come into all the sectors of life today and society today, and I think we'll discuss that in the next session also. But I think one of the key aspects of the AI is the easy availability in terms of producing disinformation, the deep fake videos, and the kind of misinformation that these AI technologies can bring in. And of course, we have seen how ChatGPT over the last 2 years has made it possible to produce that kind of content. And we also seen, for instance, rocket chat being used by terrorist organizations such as the Al-Qaeda and the Islamic State to be used as communication platforms. And finally, I think quantum computing. I think quantum computing, even though it is, in a sense, somewhat on the horizon, the key challenge today is that many of the malicious actors are actually now taking all the data, stealing all the data, and then will decrypt it later when the quantum computing becomes a possibility. So you steal the data and decrypt later. So that's another challenge which is coming in terms of the quantum computing. So all these technologies are presenting a very complicated scenario for the BRICS countries. But as I said, that within the crisis we have to find opportunities, because we see in the past also, for instance, when posed with the challenge of advanced technologies, such as, for instance, the nuclear technology, the international community did come around and framed the nuclear non-proliferation regime. So today also we have a chance to work together with the same urgency and purpose. For instance, quantum computing. Again, quantum computing, in a sense, has the potential to revolutionize cybersecurity, because it can protect ourselves from the next generation of cyber attacks. And particularly two things, quantum cryptography and quantum key distribution, can help us protect against snooping and man-in-the-middle kind of cyber attacks. Generative AI, as I said, generative AI opens up a new possibility in terms of deepfake, but the same technology can also be used to identify the deepfake videos. And that can be a great source of training for the security and law enforcement officials. It can also be used to develop new methods of responding to cyber attacks, such as, for instance, by automatically generating the patches for the various software vulnerabilities which come up. And also advanced cyber forensics. I think cyber forensics is one key area for many BRICS countries, because many of the law enforcement agencies in these countries do not have the adequate cyber forensic capabilities to detect cyber attacks and to investigate cyber attacks. So utilizing these emerging technologies effectively, we can ensure our resilience against the emerging threats. You spoke about India, and I think it will be important for me to highlight some of the steps India has taken to harness emerging technologies as well as advance cybersecurity. So currently, we have established a National Center for Artificial Intelligence, which is working to develop AI-powered cybersecurity solutions. There's also a National Quantum Computing Center, which is developing quantum-resistant cybersecurity solutions. And the Indian government is also actively promoting public-private partnerships in harnessing the emerging technologies, which will bring together the expertise of the private sector and the resources of the government to combine them together to develop solutions. One of the key examples of this is establishment of the Centers of Excellence for cybersecurity, and I think that has helped a great deal in terms of strengthening in the cybersecurity. Now, just to conclude, I think what I look at is what can the BRICS member states do and the like-minded partners can do. I think what the BRICS member states and the like-minded partners need to do is to bring together all the key stakeholders in terms of developing regulations for the emerging tech. And when I say key stakeholders, which I mean not just the government, but also, for instance, the tech corporations, the civil society, the human rights organizations, academia, research community, all these stakeholders. Because unless they are brought together, you will not get diverse set of perspectives to really develop a comprehensive solution in terms of harnessing of the emerging technologies. And therefore, I think there are three ways in which this can be done. One is in terms of the shaping of the international norms for the responsible uses of emerging technologies. Now, we have seen in the last 2 months the United Nations taking a lead in terms of bringing the model or the responsible framework for AI governance. Similar kind of framework also needs to be extended to other emerging technologies. Second is we need to also link our domestic innovation startups and ecosystems, because I think they also act as a key resource in terms of harnessing of the emerging technologies. And finally, I think one thing which will matter for the BRICS countries and for the other like-minded partners in the global south is the building of the capacity in developing and emerging economies, because clearly there is, when it comes to emerging technology, there is a gap between the global north and the global south, and we will need to invest in human and technical resources to decrease that particular gap. And that can be done by offering scholarship programs, training opportunities, increased participation in research programs, as well as spreading of the digital literacy. I think that is one key area for many of the BRICS countries and the like-minded partners. So addressing the challenge of emerging technologies for the BRICS countries really requires a comprehensive approach, which will bring together diverse set of perspectives and align them with the national set of priorities and interests, and that will help us to really effectively utilize these emerging technologies. Thank you.
Thank you. I more than agree that it is not only the malicious use of the model itself that poses some dangers, but also the question, the data which the model is using, whose the data is. Recently, there was a case, if I'm not mistaken, a very large newspaper in the United States went to the court in order to query OpenAI because some of the answers of this large model was precisely the abstracts from the materials that newspaper published, but this is not so free to use data. And I would be very glad to exchange our contacts in concern with Cybersecurity Center too, maybe later after this session. Thank you very much. Сейчас я бы хотел передать слово Чжуан Жуджень, члену рабочей группы по созданию научно-инновационного парка Китай BRICS. Пожалуйста.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's my first time to participate in these BRICS activities, and I'm really excited about it. And I would like to shift the topics from AI and digital technologies to biotechnology and biomedicine, because I think after COVID-19 is in other areas that qualify as erasing the burning interest globally. And I would like to share with you local practice from Xiamen, and that's what I've been thinking about, how the locals can be involved in these BRICS cooperation networks. And just very quickly to show you our locations, because I'm going to talk about an incubation park, and in case you want to visit us in the future, you know where we are. We are in the southeast of China, a coastal city just opposite Taiwan by a stretch of water. And if a city has a character, I would very quickly describe my city as a city of open and inclusive. And also we care about the environment, we value innovation and entrepreneurship. And also, in 2017, we have the privilege to host the ninth BRICS Summit, and that's the beginning. Since then, we have been actively involved in these BRICS cooperations. And so there are also two important events in Xiamen. One is in the year 2020, when we have launched BRICS Partner Innovation Park, Innovation Base or Innovation Center in Xiamen, which we aim to make it as a key driving force for materializing partners and for deepening BRICS cooperation in the areas of innovation and in the industry fields. And this might seem like a big dreams, but to implement it, we would narrow down to a more smaller steps. That's it. Again, in 2003, we set up a China BRICS Science and Innovation Incubation Park. That's the purpose is to support the development of innovation results. And we have several aims to achieve these roles. First is to establish a BRICS cooperation network in science and technology for innovation. And second is to establish a collaborative platform for international technology transfer agencies. And the third is to create a supported platform for technology financing, which we will also set up an incubation fund to support technology transfer and innovation. And lastly, it's also important to set up a service platform for entrepreneurship and innovation to facilitate the transfer of technologies. And then I will move to share with you our local practice. We have been trying to build a modern industrial system with composed of three areas. First is the four pillar industries we have indicated. And second, we have also identified four areas of strategy importance, four emerging industries, which includes biomedicine, biomedical industry, and thirdly, we also identify 6 areas which will be important for the future. And this includes gene and biotechnology, which is quite new technology, a frontier for our human knowledge. And in these areas, that have been called for spatial quotients, from the scientific circles, also from the industrialization of this new result, because in this area, there might be some new safety issues or ethical issues arise from the development of these new technologies, and also there might be other concerns about regional disparities, such as that. And also, to move on to our local practice, I would just briefly share with you the evolution of our biomedical industry. As an emerging industry, actually, it emerged almost 20 years ago in 2003 when we identified it as an emerging industry for the city. And it was until 2019 we have been recognized as a national cluster for emerging industry in the areas of biomedicine. And so you can see that this industry has been rising over a long course of time, slowly maybe at the beginning, but then gradually gaining momentum. And it was when COVID-19 pandemic broke out, we were able to rise to the occasion. And that's, I would just talk about how we respond to the COVID pandemic. Our city launched an emergency research program to support the research and development of medical products such as testing kits and also vaccines for COVID. And also we were able to mobilize resources in a short time and to expand production of testing kits very quickly. And so at peak times, we were able to export about 1/3 of the China's export of COVID-19 testing kits to overseas. That's amazing, because when we look back, I still remember many sleepless nights by our scientists and researchers to develop the medicines and testing kits for to combat the COVID pandemic. And it's still amazed me how fast our companies can overcome tons of difficulties to make the mass production possible in a very short time. Yeah, especially we need coordination, not only regional, but also nationwide, to make sure that the production chain is okay for the production. So I have some reflections for the post-COVID areas. For medical industry to be able to support a safe and resilient society, we need a long-term preparation. And first, we need a strong science and technology support, especially in the infrastructure areas. And also, we need to nurture a good industry to have the good foundation, so that in terms of needs, mass production can be organized in a short time. And also, we need to make sure that we have a resilient supply chains. And also, there are other, we also need support from many different sectors, regional, nationwide or even international cooperations is important for a more resilient society. And so over the past 20 years, we have gradually gaining advantage in the following areas. One is we have innovative vaccine, such as HPV vaccine for cervical cancer or for hepatitis E vaccine. And another advantage areas is in the IVD sector, with we can manufacture COVID-19 testing kits, as well as diagnostic kits for tuberculosis, HIV, or respiratory disease, or for precision treatment of tumor. And also we have new drug development, as well as medical devices, such as artificial joints. We also supplies our artificial joints to Russia, as I know. And so to sum up, we have several measures to promote the industry. First is the promotion of industrial aggregation, setting up of incubators, accelerators, and industrial parks. And also, we have been trying to optimize our industrial structure and upgrading our industrial policies. And I think the last, but the most important is the last one, that I think over the last 20 years, we have been trying to establish a mechanism for cooperation that, because in the field of biomedical industry is cross-sectoral disciplines, we need a lot of cooperations from public health department, from drugs administration, and also from health insurance sectors. So we need we need to establish establish a network of cooperation to seek synergies. And they might be difficult because we need a lot of coordination and even sometimes negotiation among different departments to break the sectoral interest. And so I think that one is the most important. And we have also several measures to promote the collaboration between clinic, research, and industry. We have promoted the setting up of clinical research center, and also established public technology service platform. And also we have different programs to support the collaboration between different players. And here I would like to share a case of our cardiovascular hospital, what they have been doing, and to be involved in the industry development and also in the BRICS cooperation activities. The cardiovascular hospital in Xiamen is, we call it tertiary level hospital, which is the highest level of hospital in China's ranking system for hospitals, and is also a regional medical center for cardiovascular disease, and also a subcenter of the National Clinical Research Center. And this hospital has been led by Professor Dr. Wang with a very innovative team, and they have been leading an innovation alliance for Xiamen's cardiovascular health industry, and they have very close collaborations with medical device companies to develop innovative, very novel medical device. And besides that, they have been actively participating in the BRICS events. For example, they have initiated visiting scholar programs called Heart Zeppelin programs to sponsor young cardiovascular doctors from BRICS countries to get the training in Xiamen. And also, they have been trying to promote BRICS cardiovascular academic exchange and cooperation activities. Recently, just last month, they have been visiting Brazil, and this picture shows the Dr. Wang and his team had been having the surgeries jointly with the Brazilian doctors. And so I think from our point of view, that's what cooperation means for us in the biomedical areas, is the synergy that can speed up innovation process. This is very important, and we have seen significant progress in this. And also with joint efforts, the benefits for health improvement can be amplified. And so in these areas, I think cooperation is of special importance. And so this last picture, I would like to share my proposals for BRICS cooperation. We have the, as I just mentioned, we have already have our industrial cooperation networks set up in the field of medical industry, and also there's the BRICS cooperation networks to make it more concrete and also have more substantial progress. I think BRICS countries, it's better for BRICS countries to bring with them local best practice to be integrated in these big cooperation networks. And in Xiamen, we have the Science and Innovation Incubation parts. It can be added as a starting point for new cooperations. And so thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We tried to shift a little bit from AI topic, but I can say that in bioinformatics, and particularly in cardiovascular diseases, they sometimes use deep learning to analyze your genomics data, so-called omics data, omicsные данные, in order to predict the recovery from potential cardiovascular disease that happens. So thank you very much, and I would like to pass on the word to Nirmala Gopal, and I would like to share her view on the framework that helps us to improve safety of technologies. And you're very welcome, please. You have a presentation, so feel free to show it. And I think I'll pass a clicker. You have a clicker, yeah. Very welcome, thank you.
So thank you very much, Alexei. I'm just waiting for my computer to start. All right, but in the meantime, I want to greet my fellow esteemed panelists, ladies and gentlemen. Let me begin by thanking Russia for this esteemed opportunity to be part of a very critical conversation and discourse. Today I'm going to be looking discursively at the issue of embracing progress and avoiding dangers, guidelines for an era of high tech or high technology. So without further ado, let me begin. So today I will be focusing on conceptualizing high technology, exploring some disruptive technologies in the BRICS countries, and of course BRICS expanded countries as well, how new generation technologies help us or disrupt achieving SDGs in the global south, exploring some of the ethical dilemmas in the face of high tech in the global south specifically, and then proposing a governance framework that could be adopted in and for the global south. So unlike my colleagues, I come from a humanities background. And coming from a humanities background, I situate my conversation within a humanities framework, because I believe that without considering the effects of of high technology on human beings, we're going to be in serious trouble. So usually high technology is associated with advanced or cutting-edge innovations and technologies that often involve significant research, development, and application of scientific knowledge. So these innovations typically represent the forefront of technological progress and are characterized by their complexity, sophistication, and potential to bring about substantial changes in various industries and sectors. And we know this not just from anecdotal evidence, but from scientific empirical evidence as well. So what is important to note moving forward is that there are various schools of thought on how we understand and unpack technologies. Some schools of thought describe them as disruptive technologies, but disruptive not necessarily in a negative sense. So disruptive in a positive, but also perhaps in terms of a beneficial sense, but also in terms of, from a point of view of being a danger. So in terms of the benefits, disruptive technologies could help us with economic growth, innovation and progress, environmental benefits, increased access to digital technology, and improved quality of life. But almost every argument that we can think of will have a counter-argument. So in terms of the counter-argument or the dangers, we could look at job displacement, which is a huge concern, especially for countries in the global south. We could see increased inequality start to emerge, privacy and security concerns, regulatory and ethical challenges, as well as cultural erosion. So moving on from here, what I will do now is look at some of the concerns around new generation technologies, and not just in terms of how they achieve SDGs, but some of the challenges that we would experience in terms of achieving those SDGs. So whilst I've already mentioned that there are benefits, we do know that high technology plays a very, very critical role in achieving the SDGs, but also in the absence of high technology, effective, adequate high technology, we know that it could become a challenge in the global south. We also know that IoT, which is related to SDG 10, can be touted as a game changer in the realm of technology because it stands as a transformative force across industries, connecting everyday objects to the internet and enabling data exchange and automation. However, it has increased information security vulnerabilities. And I think my previous speakers have, panelists have alluded to security issues. And the minute we have security vulnerabilities, we do know that that's a point for contention and some dangerous activities. So moreover, especially in the global south, the inadequate digital infrastructure such as inconsistencies in electricity supplies and internet connections influences the rate at which SDGs relying on the IoT to be successful might be undermined. And we heard at this morning's one of the plenary sessions, the discussion on renewable energy and the disparities that exist in the global south. So unless we begin to work on those disparities, we're going to be leaving some people behind. And I think especially the marginalized and perhaps even minority groups. Interestingly, an analysis of more than 640 IoT deployments conducted in collaboration with IoT research firm, IoT Analytics globally, show that 84% of existing IoT deployments can address the SDGs. So we see the paradoxes of IoT, for example. However, effectively, IoT contributes towards sustainability goals related to climate change or climate action, responsible consumption, clean energy, clean water, life on land, life below water, sustainable cities and communities, and good health. So we can see it penetrates and permeates every aspect of our lives. So it means that we've got to be very alert, very vigilant, and at the cutting edge of research. So moving on, I want to quickly look into the renewable energy sources, which in sub-Saharan Africa, where I come from, and other parts of the global south are grossly underutilized. So renewable energy sources are grossly underutilized. Yet, a significant percentage of the population lacks access to electricity. And we need to ask ourselves, why? And because of this situation, this could largely contribute to a lack of connection to the national grid, inadequate technical capacities to design and manufacture efficient power generation and transmission components and systems. So whilst we talk about SDG 10 and the fact that we are all mandated to and we are all expected to reach the SDG goals, in the absence of adequate infrastructure, in the absence of technical skills, etc., how will we in the global south actually reach that and achieve that? Do we in the BRICS countries, will we have one or two of us ahead of the pack, or do we want to make sure that we all move in tandem, in harmony? All right, so in terms of, according to the World Health Organization, about 99% of people in the world breathe air that exceeds air quality limits and threatens their health. And I think just the speaker before me spoke about biomedical technology and its advancements. And of course, I think some of her recommendations spoke about reducing deaths. Well, it had a link to that. Because what we see according to the World Health Organization is that more than 13 million deaths around the world each year are due to avoidable environmental causes, including air pollution. And that's another statistic for huge concern. Therefore, switching to clean sources of energy such as wind and solar helps address not only climate change, but also air pollution and health. Furthermore, the IEA estimates that the transition towards net zero emissions will lead to an overall increase in energy sector jobs, which is one of the concerns around new generation high technologies, the concern about job losses, especially for us in the global south. So if we had to move towards net zero transmissions, and even though about 5 million jobs in fossil fuel production could be lost by 2030, an estimated 14 million jobs would be created in clean energy, resulting in a net gain of 9 million jobs. So I think it's really critical and essential for the way in which we package our conversations, especially to the communities at large. So I'm now moving on to ethical dilemmas. And we do know, and I'm sure every one of us in this room has been discussing ethics around AI, ethics around the use of internet. And I always believe that with every new technology that we have, it comes with its own challenges. And nonetheless, cyber, high technology, etc., have come with their own challenges. And one of the greatest challenges that we're facing is ethical, a challenge on ethics. And specifically, ethics around accountability, bias, transparency, autonomy, socio-economic challenges, but also maleficence. Okay, so when we look at accountability, for example, it presents a complex challenge, especially within the AI realm, because we are unable to actually delineate the responsibility to any party. And this is usually because, for example, if we look at the business sector, they use a hybrid stack. And what this does is that it combines owned and third-party technologies. And because of this, there is frequent misunderstanding. So each one will be pushing the buck onto the other. So there's misunderstanding over who is in charge of governance, who is in charge of big data usage, cybersecurity issues, and the handling of personally identifiable information. So at the end of the day, we ask ourselves, whose responsibility is it really to ensure that data is protected? So we also know that technology is built by programmers, and because of this, it has its inherent bias, which is usually created by the creators themselves. For example, AI systems learn to make decisions based on training and coding data, which can be tainted by human bias or reflect historical or social inequalities. And again, we're going to see the divide, the socio-economic divide, which will expand. Leading AI developer Google experienced an issue where AI software believes male nurses and female historians do not exist. So that's a very interesting comment. Thus, the opacity of AI systems hampers developers and end users' capacity to comprehend or validate the outputs that are generated. However, even more importantly, and beyond the concerns that I've already discussed and shared, there exists the ominous possibility of AI being exploited by malicious actors, such as criminals, terrorists, or authoritarian regimes, amplifying the risk of nefarious activities and maleficence. As such, navigating the ethical, legal, and social implications of AI adoption necessitates careful consideration of accountability frameworks and proactive measures to mitigate the risks that are in front of us on the slide. So moving towards the conclusion, what I do here is I propose a Global South high technology regulatory framework. So what does this framework actually look like? So this framework would, or should, my proposal is that it should be a framework which it has an inclusive policy-making ethos. And we've heard this over the past day and a half, that inclusiveness is really critical for our success as a BRICS bloc. In terms of digital infrastructure development, for those countries where we said there's a lack of digital infrastructure or inadequate, then together, collaboratively, we should then decide on how we would improve the digital infrastructure. International collaboration, how would we collaborate amongst us? Inter-collaboration, but intra-collaboration as well. There are some times and at some points where we need collaboration with the North, with the global North. Then we need a very precise and well-defined ethical framework. And that's really critical, especially in light of the conversation I had just before this slide. Then our data governance and privacy policies, we need to make sure that our regulatory framework speaks very specifically to who governs data, how is the data governed, and how will we ensure privacy of all internet users in our countries. And then finally, capacity building and research. And here I think about, for example, people-to-people mobility. I think about us having a research center where we are able to share best practices amongst each other in the BRICS country. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I think it is crucial for us that after session we exchange our contacts, of course. And now I would like to welcome Jujang and Nirmala Gopal to take the place in the first row, please. And I would like to invite on stage Alo Dido and Al-Ghazaimi. Please welcome, please take your seats. Please put the tablets, right? Well, we've started a little bit to talk about biomedical technologies. And I would like to, oh yeah, let's have a pause. Okay, thank you. We started to talk about biomedical technologies, and indeed, it is a really impactful area, influencing our health, our economics, etc. And I would like to ask Alo Amandido to discuss a little bit from the point of biotechnology, how should we choose this optimal trade-off between being, ahead of the speed the technologies are evolving, sometimes do not let us to think through every scenario of potential perils or potential dangers. So what is your view towards this trade-off? Oh, through the slides, yeah? Okay. Можно, пожалуйста, попросить по слайдам помочь? Да, со слайдами. Just a second. Okay, and probably before the slides can come up, you can just tell us something about the center you are working on.
Okay. Thank you very much for being accommodating Ethiopia. I would like to thank BRICS member countries for being accommodating Ethiopia as one of its member, and BRICS Academic Forum for inviting us to share our opinion on these very, very interesting occasions. till my slide maybe started, I would like to say I am from Bio and Emerging Technology Institute in Ethiopia, operating under Minister of Innovation and Technology. We are working on biotechnology aspect and emerging technologies. From biotechnology aspect, we are working on all areas of biotechnology, including agricultural biotechnology, healthy biotechnology, industrial biotechnology, and environmental biotechnology. Under emerging technologies, we are working on nanotechnology, material science and engineering, and computational science and artificial intelligence. Though it is not that emerging, we are working on also on reverse engineering. In my institute, we have another sectors serving as a border for both categories, genomics and bioinformatics, and technology transfer, which is very important to do some importation and export of technologies. Right. I sent, I think the organizer already received. You didn't?
Can you send them via email?
Yeah, I can do.
Just sorry for this
Yeah,
inconvenience.
okay.
We just, no problem, sorry. Just we will put them just right in. They received it already. They're going to get.
Fine.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's okay. No, it's okay. Having said this, I will not repeat all what my previous colleagues said, but some of the talks are overlapping. I will not mention those specific technologies, and my presentation will be very general. And in terms of that, I will say some introduction words. And the necessity of embracing technology as a change to drive innovation and digital transformation, what is a necessity. I will say some word on that. And for embracing technology, then we need to create a culture that promote technology. And after a few years, there is economic and scientific growth shift from west to the north in terms of scientific aspect and IP aspects. I will say a few words on that. And the challenges to successfully implementation of technology solution for development, what the challenge we are facing in terms of technology development and promotion. And the risks, technology and environmental risks the world should worry about. What are the technology aspects? In terms of technology, potential future risk, and the environment we are living in. What are the potential risks that come from misutilization of these technologies? And finally, I will say some words already, my previous colleagues said it. I will share our opinion in terms of cooperation in area of science, technology, innovation, STI, among BRICS members. Shall I continue? Or it is not coming?
Коллеги, скажите, пожалуйста, слайды у вас находятся на почте? Или 2 минуты? Oh, just
It's
one
fine.
couple of minutes. Sorry.
It's okay.
Да, нету слайдов. So,
Yep.
Is it your?
This is,
great.
thank you. Yep. This is, I'm going to present in the same title, but maybe some, there is no new words that I am going to include, but it may be said differently. It is, title is Embracing Progress and Avoiding Dangers, Guidelines for an Era of High Tech. As I said, a few points on introduction part, and embracing technological change to drive innovation. And I already said that before. As an introduction, in the era of, in the digital era, technology innovation are transforming the landscape of countries and industries all over the world. And the role of technology in socio-economic development, therefore, has become increasingly prominent and impactful over the world. Then countries that invest in R&D encourage innovation, tend to experience high level of productivity and competencies. That is what we are observing on a daily basis. And industries like artificial intelligence, biotechnology, renewable energy, and automation can create new markets and generate employment opportunities on the world. And additionally, the rise of startups. Currently, there are a lot of startups that are fueled by technology breakthrough, leads to the creation of innovative products and services. Then the necessity of embracing these technologies to drive innovation, to more go for innovation, and for transforming to the digital world. In the world where growth has no boundaries, technology change is high on the list of every state of priority. Every country has technology, innovation. It could be through importation or local development, that it is a high priority. And from our experience, we can witness the inevitable impact of change and how it propels innovation forward. It is no longer a choice for survival, but it is the key to thriving in this digital age. Information and communication technology has broken down geographical barriers and transformed communities, because we will not come to Russia crossing this all unless there were no technology, and we were not able to communicate in every aspect unless we do have these ICT technologies and other technologies at hand. It empowered individuals and equipped them with the tool needed to continue meaningful to their communities and economics. Technology creates new opportunities for economic growth, development, and competency in the world. And over the last decades, emerging countries located outside the North America and Europe have shown high economic growth rate. This shows the center of gravity will shift, and from Western countries, namely G7, to emerging countries such as South Asia and Latin America. This will not only shift the economic aspect, but science and the technology center gravity might shift, and scientific collaboration might play an important role in such aspect. Then to have this embrace technology, to widen it, we have to create a culture that embraces change and foster innovation. For this, the most successful state is the country that create and adapt the culture of the technology innovation and digitalization, which is only possible when they build and maintain culture of innovation. In today's rapidly evolving technology landscape, each state needs to cultivate a culture of innovation that fosters creativity and adaptability. Among these, there are some key strategies that will help to build culture, like for encourage and embrace diversity. As it was said yesterday, we are from different culture, we are from different continents, but if we encourage those and embrace those diversity, we can embrace change and foster diversity innovation forward. The other is acknowledge the role of innovation and in sustainable economies. Was this innovation catalyst long-term economic growth? And this start point for this investigation is the realization that innovation, by definition, foster economic growth and promote the development all over the world. Technology innovation is crucial in maximizing the use of natural resource, minimize waste, and promote circular economy concept, which are essential for long-term sustainability. The other is exploration of policies and innovative promoting innovation. We have to have the policies and initiatives that promote innovation in local and international, at local and international level. The other is encourage supportive diplomacy among the BRICS and other members as well. Diplomacy is a shaping policy, promoting political and economic stability, expanding access to global market, foster social welfare, and enhance the role of member countries in international order. And the principle is consensus and equality, emphasizing the importance of decision-making through mutual agreement and equal participation among the nation. The last but not the least is conducive national system of technology transfer. As a member, BRICS Plus, I use BRICS Plus because it is now more than BRICS, then I use the plus sign. Technology transfer is one of the main focus in the development of both national economies and the global economy as a whole. In modern condition, it is the level of innovative and technology development based on the production and transfer of high technology. The challenge to successful implementation of technological solution for development. What are the challenge? Lack of infrastructure. In some of the countries, there is no such good structure, good infrastructure to cover the whole geography. One of the main challenges in developing countries is the lack of basic infrastructure, including access to electricity, as this was said by our South African colleague. And the lack of infrastructure can also make it difficult to maintain and repair those already available technologies. The other is cultural and social barriers. Then this has to be considered and worked on them. Culture and social factor can also pose significant challenge on technology adoption, innovation, and the like. The other is financial constraint. Financial constraint can also present challenge to successful implementation of technologies in majority of the countries. Political and regulatory challenge. Unless there is political commitment and technology STI regulations in the country, there is no possibility to go forward. It hinders the successful implementation of technological solution for development. What are the technology and environmental risks that the world would worry about? In terms of in living in an era of unique technology, scientific and financial resource, we frequently see incredible innovations. Just look at gene editing in the world in terms of biotechnology, and the possibility of curing other than treating, then directly curing the disease, then to produce increasing rate of microbial resistance. Under this, yet the risk to our world are increasing, not reducing. The technology is also increasing. Its risk indirectly increases with misuse and or what have you. There are systemic. These are systemic in nature, requiring collective will to address them. With all of us, there has to be collective will to focus on those risks. We must act together and we must act now before they become large. The technological, tech future risk, as it is said, I will not mention them one by one. It's already said. New advances in many kinds of technology pose potentially significant ethical challenge from artificial intelligence aspect, from biotechnology aspect, and decarbonization technologies. And the other also is at macro level, and at micro level, there are a lot of risks from high-tech technologies. The environmental risks are becoming more prominent because of some misuse or in terms of other carelessness. There is, and also there are some points to mention, but extreme weather event and temperature, accelerating biodiversity loss, pollution of air, soil, and water, failure of climate change mitigation and adaptation, and risks linked to the low carbon transmission. These are some of the environmental risks that are expected when we are going through the development of technology. What are the areas of collaboration? The meaning and the purpose of cooperation in science, technology, and innovation. Important factors that BRICS plus countries to develop and support SCTI cooperation include the joint R&D with other countries can provide access to valuable additional knowledge and competency. Cooperation in research share costs allow pursuing complementary lines of effort and help avoid duplication of efforts through technology transfer. One country can get those without any further effort. The result of joint project always hasten progress on common goals and at lower cost to national funders. And joint progress through ACTI cooperation is even more valuable when goals are globally understood. And mutual benefit in science and technology cooperation also appears to be advantageous diplomatically, as the benefits provide a positive rationale for maintaining relations. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Indeed, I appreciate very much your thesis that we must act together and act now. And let me please introduce Hoda Al-Saimi. I would like you to share your view on the optimal motion towards technology progress and how to keep up with this speed, imposing some prudent regulation and prudent tools to mitigate possible risks. You're welcome.
Give me a bit of commute time to the stage. Thank you so much, everyone. I would like to start by saying a great thank you to the organization team who is diligently working to make sure we are extremely comfortable in our seats, and as well to Alexei and the greater BRICS Academic Council for hosting all of us in this symposium. Let's start by estimating what are the actual ramifications of developing an equitable platform for technology development and critical or what we call as well deep industrial development within the BRICS economies. We talked a lot about inequalities, and I think if we are measuring inequalities accurately, we'll see that the mass of population that represent these inequalities do exist actually within BRICS nations. So we have a wider and critical due diligence to do in order to minimize this inequality. And with those responsibility comes as well a mandate to make sure that we have the power to think of building these critical technologies beyond AI, beyond just technology development, but also technology investments on a grander scale. So prior to this, I'd like to introduce quickly myself. My name is Hura Al-Khazemi. I am the Associate Vice Provost for Research Translation and Innovation and Entrepreneurship in multiple platforms in the United Arab Emirates. I'm as well the founder of EmirateSec, which is a research center focused on prototyping of deep technologies and as well pushing them to commercialized markets. We don't just focus on AI or crypto because these are, or quantum, because these are one of the taglines within the portfolios of investments that should exist. These are my contacts. So in case you have questions that you did not address within the session, after the session, you can feel free to either email me or WhatsApp me. I have other emails which are jurisdictional to my formal work capacity, but I'd rather to keep things pulled to my Gmail. Just in case you need anything, WhatsApp me on this platform. The merit of my conversation centers around the necessity to understand that within the global high-tech sectors, the BRICS nation has a responsibility to build technological advances that are based on open multilateralism. And maybe after I present my thesis, I will explain to you why open multilateralism in the current economic development scene is very important, why our focus is not supposed to be about technology development, but also R&D structures and advanced R&D structures within different BRICS nations, and focusing on jurisdictions of inequality to make sure that they also have access to advanced R&D structures, advanced technological development of these critical technologies. And what is exactly the difference in between critical technologies, emerging technologies? Thank you so much for my colleague from South Africa for highlighting the difference between emerging technologies and disruptive technologies as well. And I would like to add to that in today's world, these norms are establishing new paradigms of economic development and investments. We hear the term quite often now, which is focused on disruptive investments, distressed investments, and most of those assets of disruptive distressed investments are not particularly focused on impact within addressing inequality. So maybe we need to steer them a little bit away from the current priorities to those kind of priorities. And we need to also build for actionable, measurable models of global sovereignty, I would say, rather than just individualistic sovereignties and over the supply chain. And this global sovereignty means we need to be particular about empowering nations when it comes to their individualistic sovereignties over their assets. I'm talking about critical technology development assets, deep industries development assets. We can't live in a world anymore where minerals are extracted from certain geographies, exposed and used and utilized by a different geography, and the mass operation of reaping the profit, the economic profit of those resources are only clustered within a very specific geography. We need to make sure that access to resources means also equal access of advanced utilization to those resources in origins, which is very important. For that, we need to build a governance infrastructure on economic development that we did not see in the past, and to make sure that it is built around diverse thematics and state and non-state actors would be welcome toward this. I'm super happy glad and appreciative to the information presented by my colleague from China related to the private partnership approach, public-private partnership approaches. And we need to see more of that within the BRICS network. I know we have them, but we need to have more of that, focused maybe on, as we see here, critical infrastructures like mobility, agriculture, and education, water resources, and other aspects, especially the ones that are enlisted within the SDG 17 kind of network. So when it comes to the BRICS technological kind of rise, and what is the global parameter of the BRICS nations technological development, the statistic shows that we don't have a mass of accurate visibility. And this is maybe the number one thing that we need to correct, or the number one priority that we need to put on the table, and we need to address in the next BRICS communication. And make sure that it is very important, yes, to address the call that my colleague from South Africa have put on the table. It is very important to build a collaborative progress, but this collaborative progress as well dictates a significant importance to addressing how we are going to push for mobilization platforms and in an ethical context. So if we are going to look at the critical technologies, they're quite different than just emerging technology. We need to look beyond the fourth industrial revolution, beyond what we are defining as post-quantum, gene editing, precision medicine, and maybe the conglomerate effect of all of these technologies put together, AI as well, but also the conglomerate effect of all of those put together, and having the impact of building the new frontiers of the next generation technologies. Because what we're seeing today is this kind of a global echo chamber that keeps on telling us AI is the priority. But in reality, AI was the historical priority. What will be the future priorities that we should address when we know that we have a conglomerate of assets to build? The OECD report already shows us that we are late. In 2018, the investment on those portfolio of assets of emerging technology was around 350 billion USDs. Today, it's 3.2 trillion. So, or maybe not today, I mean, yesterday, almost, it's going to be 3.2 trillion because as I'm speaking to you today, the data is changing and the accumulation of global priorities are changing as well. So we see a global growth of over 10x. A global growth of over 10x kind of interest in building this industry would lead you to understand that we are definitely having an Oppenheimer moment. And this Oppenheimer moment, or a kind of a stress collaborative moment, is supposed to bring the best out of us, not the worst out of us. The best out of technologies, not the worst out of technologies. And I'm gonna thank our colleagues in the Australian Strategic Policy Institute for building this kind of a global parameter. I will encourage all of you to have a look at it. They wanted to, of course, today when you want to build data on what country is leading and what sphere when it comes to critical technologies, you would feel that you are in the center of conflicted data. And this conflicted data might be also centered around nation interest to seem competent or to look advancing within specific technology development scenarios. But in reality, we have to have priorities centered around, first, the portfolio of development of those technologies, and second, around who is actually having the global monopolic power to building these technologies. When it comes to AI, you will be shocked that actually, contrary to the data presented by many of the sovereign funds or global banks and investment bodies, China is leading on investing in most of those core technologies development. And after China, you would have the US, and for other technologies, you would have as well India's and other material science technology, for example, and other types of different technologies. The insight that this level of reports provide is quite important because it will push us to understand what are our priorities when we're thinking about efficiencies and economic growth. And as well, it would push the BRICS countries to think about their market projections. Today, I think we are as well, I would like to issue a different call and another call to make sure that BRICS countries has this barometer enlisted on their public communication. And they're building for their own communication and controlling the narratives on the level of investments that are being pushed on the BRICS kind of network. I've looked quickly at the Market Research Institute BRICS report of 2022 and the BRICS investment report of 2022 because I wanted to try to understand what is the percentage of investment that goes on for critical technology development when we are discussing the BRICS wider economic collaboration that exists between different nations. And you will be shocked that it's only 20% to 30% out of the generic kind of investments. Investments on critical technologies or deep technologies today within BRICS nation, when it's an early movers advantage platform for many, is critical because it's an investment in the future and it's an investment in tomorrow's competencies. So let's start by, I think, not overdwelling about the lack and the shortage of the current talent pool, because this is an outdated argument. We need to focus on how we build the next future frontier, given the ingredients that we have today. The report talks, of course, about the fact that 350 billion type of investments is going for cloud computing revenues generation. Cybersecurity revenue is around 150 billion, and 65 billion is for adoption rate for cloud computing into different geographies. Is this enough? I don't think so. We need to also focus on a different advanced science kind of platform, because adoption in this, like for example, if we talked about the potential adoption of AI within the economies can lead to 15% efficiencies. Of course, we know this. This is why we are seeing the mass kind of push to think of AI, but let's not be brainwashed by the trend and think wider about the economic movement that we have to establish here. Let's not just focus on blockchain applications or cybersecurity investments, but also focus on the collective power that would exist if we built joint R&D networks amidst BRICS kind of nations that hopefully will surpass the current 2 billion investments that exist from this collaborative innovations. This 2 billion is going for funding different initiatives, over 30 initiatives on climate technologies, and also on cybersecurity and other aspects. So why is it important to look beyond the global projections that AI is going to provide for 20 to 30% of global efficiencies with the current, this is to me a bit of outdated data, but 15.7 trillion in terms of global capture of revenue is anticipated in 2023 by 2030. But in reality, today, I've read actually a forecast yesterday that says it's mapping to 19 trillion. So the forecast, again, is changing as we are speaking. And if you look at the amount that goes for different nations, then China is standing to reap around 7 trillion kind of investments out of their current 22 billion investments that are being put in the map. We don't know the reality, of course, because there are typical number of investments that goes in confidentiality with different nations, but it has a positive impact, for example, on R&D development, on patent structuring, on the volume that we are driving for different economies. I take these statistics with a grain of salt because I still think that we don't have a transparent, authentic, central pool for the economic, I would say, merits that exist on investments within the different international platform. But when I want us to look, when we are looking at the GDP contribution of different nations, I want us to look to the total factor of productivity as a metric of successful evaluation of how these critical technology are being used and global growth indications for global economies. Why total factor of productivity is important? Because when we live in a polycrisis situation today, as we are seeing, with a massive conflict happening, with the economic recessions hitting multiple regions, and as well the amount of inequalities that existed in the past, as well as with the post-COVID ramifications, the TFP comes to play as a major factor of making sure that nations can stand on their own and deliver actual results regardless of their GDP capital. Because it means that you have effective high-skilled labor, number one. You have structure of capitals that you can mobilize that are not just dependent on the governmental central structures. And also you have technology and innovation ecosystems and hubs within national level and a global level that would help you pull out resources and build for the next frontiers of solution, regardless of your resources. So it's that kind of magical economic power, I would say, to put solutions first. And countries that had for example, high TFPs, had the ability to pivot faster towards solutions amidst the crisis. So I would call for all of us to focus on that when we are focusing on our economies, focusing on high economic jobs, high capital structures that would support deep industries and also advanced critical industries development within our nations. Let's forget this rosy picture that we keep on seeing on annual level where GDPs are glorified, and start looking at how much of those GDPs are being actually pushed towards R&D kind of structures. Because we are going, hopefully, to push for a different criteria for economic development, where innovation ecosystems that are residing within original resource-driven, I would say, nations are not the main mandate, and investment flows and incentives of different capital structures should be provided, and intellectual property development across different regions should be mobilized as well. Again, it's that kind of picture of uncertainty, because how can we do this without proper regulation at hand and without understanding the various increase of users of those critical technologies in manufacturing, for example, healthcare or agriculture. For that, we need a deeper look. I asked you today, what is the investment that the BRICS countries are pooling into IoT integration, for example, in urban development in different regions? What is the infrastructure improvement that we have put into MAP? What is the sustainability effort? What is the different initiative, as well as the knowledge sharing initiatives that we built, the funding initiative that we built, and the joint projects that we built for those projects? We will find that we have fragmented data. We have very good data coming from China, for example, and some coming from India, and some coming from Brazil and Russia, but we don't have the full picture that could connect the collective power of different nations from those different jurisdictions. Again, we have to fit in the economic paradigm, right? The economic paradigm that says that within few years, every few years, you would have this kind of innovation cycles that would push for a different integration of a critical development and deep industrial developments. The IoTs, the semiconductors are some of those, but also the clean tech that are being pushed today is another. But what I want you to understand is, I don't have that slide, I think, here, but I think there was another slide that's very critical to understand, is that this innovation cycle is intertwined by a global crisis cycle. And if you put them side to side, you will understand that with every crisis, there is an initiation of a new innovation cycle, which is a bit of, I would say, optimistic outlook to have. It means that regardless of how much we will be pushed into the corner of a stress of an economic level globally, those cycles will sustain and will be there to develop new paradigms of technologies and new paradigms of jobs and new paradigms of education and knowledge that we are building during the historical development of humanity to build the new opportunities of the future. And for that, it means that we don't have to think of investment structures that are centered around specific Silicon Valleys within specific geographies, because the new paradigm of investments means that we are shifting, specifically through the BRICS, the way we are investing on capital mobility. And capital mobility will be the new norms of making sure that new hubs activated towards advanced technology and R&D and science development will be developed. We've seen a few in the past. We've seen a hub where energy trading, for example, right now is rising in the Middle East, and that was not the norm because that region was primarily perceived as a region for energy, maybe exports, but not energy trading aspects. But today they are rising within that kind of structure because of this capital mobility that exists in different notions. Again, the rise of AI, we have to understand that every technological development have its own base, the way it's being developed, the cycle of evolution that it gets around, the collective, I would say, risks that portfolio that it portrays is different from different technologies. So I want you to first understand, do we have a global common de facto standards of governance when we are addressing risk of critical technologies development? We don't have that. Then maybe we should start by applying that and making sure that we have a centric pool within the BRICS platform to build these kind of joint standards for critical technology development, joint standards for development of different kind of assets, because these technologies are being right now pushed to the limits. We have lived, I don't know how many of you are have been born in the 80s, for example. I think you've been born in an era where 2 cycles of innovation happened within your lifetime, probably. And with that today, maybe you will be able to witness 3 or 5 different additional cycles of innovation. AI is being developed in an accelerated manner. The computing structure today is being enhanced to its double efficiencies every 2 to 3 months. This was not the case in 2022. In 2022, it took maybe 16 months to 18 months to accelerate AI computing power. The mass importance of introducing priorities coupled with capital structures would give us this, would give us that we can today develop computing infrastructure precisely dedicated to specific technology in 2 to 3 months that has double the capacity of the former kind of technology developments. That's even faster than Moore's law that tells you that you have to wait 18 months for technology to get maybe double capacity and double acceleration capacity into your devices. So are we going to build a piece of technology that runs faster than our hardware? Because we are living a global technology sanction wars where countries are trying to de-risk their position in the global competition by slowing down the innovation on technology of other countries. Is this going to be the de facto norm? We have to fight that back. And to fight that back, it means we need to build bridges and joint collaborative power amidst the BRICS countries in order to develop genuine, innovative solutions of AI infrastructure, and not to be just the deployment ground field of AI, but the development ground field of AI. And for that, it means a better understanding of our startup ecosystem and a better capital investment on those startup ecosystem, where you give them a wide room of as well independence on execution, and maybe a wider access to market. So when it comes to OpenAI, yes, we have seen, thank you so much for my colleague earlier when he presented the different kind of projects that exist globally. And I've been really, I would say, thank you for sharing your results with us regarding the projects that you do on understanding economic development structures from an AI perspective. I'll take that, but I'll take that with a grain of salt, because these models are not accurate, and they are as accurate as the amount of open research as we are being put into this. We're lucky today because it's not just a private sector war, it's our effort. It's a private sector effort coupled with open source community. And thank God for open source community, because the nudging that they are doing for the private sector community makes it easier for us to build much more equitable, reliable, secure, ethical technologies than it used to be in the past. The cost of developing these technologies would be drastically dropping. We are seeing that today to develop maybe 100 trillion plus parameters, it took in the past around 2.6 billion kind of investments, but it's going to shrink to nothing. It's going to shrink maybe to, and I've heard recently, the goal is for it to going to shrink to less than $5 a kind of investment. So, and what kind of reality and what kind of speed we'll see. The way it affects, my video is not playing unfortunately, but the way it will affect the way we perceive arts, heritage, culture, and the intellectual property intertwined with arts and culture is also very important, because we can't just let the technology narrate the whole history of a culture without allowing that culture to be part of the pool, part of the data structure, part of the indigenous data structures that are being built into that culture. Another level of ambiguity, how secure and safe are these technologies? We're using these technologies for building kind of deep learning models, for cybersecurity platform, for manipulations, for malware analysis, for deep fakes, thanks to my Indian colleague Samir for narrating the different norms that we see them being portrayed in, and also we see them in autonomous weapon systems. But is that the ethical norm that we want those structures to exist in? Because again, they are very partial and incomplete, and their partiality and incompleteness would lead to a bias that leads to a devastated kind of outcome, like the ones we see when we are looking at face recognition systems that would label specific ethnic group as high threat individuals. Do we have a problem with having a human bias as part of the decision-making process? Do you have an issue with that? Normally not. If a human being is involved and a human being is having over 175 biases within its brain structure, plus I would say, we are fine with that human making a decision, but we're not fine with the machine making that decision, because the machine also, or the AI system, lacks the intelligence of self-regulating the bias, and also lack the intelligence of making sure that they can encompass emotional, societal, and other factors into the map when making a decision. So the risk that this technology brings into the map goes beyond the legal and ethical risks and more than the technical risks that we see on board. And it puts on us the pressure to build better laws, better integration of ethics and technology. It shouldn't be the norm today, and that's the historical tipping point, I will call it. It shouldn't be the norm today for us to develop a technology and push it to market, while we know very well that this technology is not ready for human use. But we push it to market because it's a closer aspect for us to be gaining and reaping that profit that I talked about early on in my slides. It will put you in the lead kind of nations of developing a technology, but you are providing a weaker technology to the mass. So the responsibility aspect of making sure that technology development today should not be clustered in the hands of a big tech companies or in the hand of a big state contributors, but technology development should be as well in the hands of the public and in the consumers, where you good to say, I'm not going to use this platform, I'm not going to be using this AI system, I don't want to use it, and it doesn't make sense to me because I want to have a better type of technology being pushed into the map. And I think this kind of co-development aspects of technology is what we will see in the future, because if we want to address the mass of fake news that exists globally. My videos are not working, but the first video shows you a mass of a fake news kind of platform that represents President Putin. And the next video shows as well an autonomous car system that runs over a pedestrian because it was on autopilot structure. And how fair is it? Who should be responsible, the driver, the algorithm, or the developer of this algorithm in such systems? And how come this technology has been pushed, autonomous technology has been pushed to use to market before rigorous testing to this technology has been played on the wider kind of agenda? So again, it's beyond just understanding deep fakes or biases or the accuracy and reliability of those models or the copyright ambiguities or the risk of unemployment that my colleagues talked about. It's all of this collectively and an understanding that building policies are not enough. The OECD.ai initiative, and I will recommend all of you go and have a look, will enlist over 200 policies on AI being developed globally. So Is over 200 policies enough or not enough? Because what we hear today is that we don't have a proper AI regulation, we don't have a proper AI standards, and our index of readiness is too poor. It's not enough because we are not building interdisciplinary kind of a platform. I'll have 2 minutes. Not building interdisciplinary practices when building for those regulations. Regulations are not supposed to be built in isolation. They're supposed to be built with the technology developers, with the economists, with the social scientists, with the psychologists, with the wider scope. Thank you so much for being part of humanities here. With the wider scope of social and science, social humanities and science kind of practitioners to bring them to action. So I don't know how many of you have looked at the GDPR laws. They're mandated. If you want to work with Europe, you have certain rights that tells you you have the right not to be analyzed, the right to be forgotten, or the right to be erased. But in reality, how many of you are actually within a platform using it online and you can guarantee that that platform will erase you? We don't have that right granted by any technology platform. Unless people who are developing these laws talk to people who are developing technology and work hand in hand, then we will not see a change in the way we build technologies. I want to exist today on communication or social media platform where I delete everything on my social media and I have a guarantee and a validation stamp that says it is deleted. And if someone extracted any information in the future, then there is a legal ramification on a global level to that and all of these things. The right not to be analyzed is very important if you don't want to be subjected to AI analytic tools. Many examples exist in today's world. I don't want to go into the details of that, but I want us to go into this reminder. Our challenges are rapid when it comes to technology development. We need to not just focus on the skill gap, but we need to focus on how can we build a better inclusivity, capacity building exercise, make sure that we address the risks, we address the opportunities that would exist on a different spheres. And my approach to this is to go back to this call, the BRICS call, in order to build an approach of collaboration that will minimize the socio-economic effects of building high-tech technologies, but that are unequal in its, I would say, resources and practices and innovation practices. That's it for now. Thank you so much for your attention and for your diligence.
Thank you very much, Hoda. To my knowledge, United Arab Emirates is the country that is actively ordering GPUs from NVIDIA in order to build even greater Falcon language model. So hopefully it will happen, and we will have more available LLM models. So last but not least, I want to invite for a short talk Alan Salbiev, a founder of the Academy of System Analysis. Alan, пожалуйста, передайте микрофон. And after that, I will invite everyone to have a group photo, please. Okay?
Сильные доклады, сильных экспертов чуть скорректировали канву моего выступления. У меня всего 2 минуты, как у дискутанта. Но когда я услышал, как Альберт Бахтизин говорит о новых вызовах, новых технологий, Самир Патил о взаимодействии инновационных экономик, Чуан Жунчен о коллаборативных платформах, Нирмала Гапалу о том, что развитие технологий усиливает неравенство, Аманди До сказал, что развитие, гравитация переносится из развитого Запада в развивающийся Юг, и Хода Аль-Хзайми потрясла меня своей концепцией коллаборативного прогресса. Я вдруг понял, насколько правильно, наверное, завершить именно моей репликой нашу дискуссию. Вот по какой причине. Дело в том, что мы много лет занимаемся проблемами интероперабельности. И что такое интероперабельность? Это способность в технологической среде к взаимопониманию. Вот каждый спикер говорил о разном, но все говорили о взаимопонимании. О том, как в сложном, взаимосвязанном и взаимозависимом мире обеспечить эффективность взаимодействия при реализации инновационных проектов, гуманитарных проектов, проектов в сфере устойчивого развития. И вот, как мне показалось, мы все говорим об одной и той же проблеме, и поэтому я прошу коллег, организаторов форума, сделать краеугольным камнем в тех выводах, рекомендациях, которые мы подготовим для саммита БРИКС в Казани, от имени академического форума вот это красной линией провести, что красной нитью, извините, красная линия это другая тема, красной нитью провести необходимость выработки совместных принципов по обеспечению интероперабельности, а именно способности к взаимопониманию в технологической среде. Современные технологии впервые в истории человечества обеспечивают возможность взаимного доверия, если даже в физическом мире стороны не до конца друг другу доверяют. Это технологии распределенного реестра. Нам вполне по силам определить общий фрейм интероперабельности. Он позволит не менять национальные стандарты. Он сделает надстройку над всеми общую. Также интероперабельность мы можем проработать на организационном и семантическом уровне, потому что именно сейчас, когда мы накопили энергию и начали ее реализовывать, осуществлять в проектах, мы можем споткнуться или снизить эффективность от того, что у нас нет вот этих общих регулирующих правил. И, как говорила госпожа Ахзавими, это действительно может стать проблемой. Спасибо огромное, я постарался уложиться в 2 минуты. Спасибо.
Thank you very much. Спасибо, Алан. Уважаемые гости, спасибо большое за то, что были с нами. Мы немножко перелимитили по времени. Спасибо за 2 часа плотной работы. Я приглашаю спикеров сделать групповое фото. Please, very welcome to make a group photo, please, for the speakers.